Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий Вооруженными силами Российской Федерации, войска Московского гарнизона к параду готовы. Министр обороны, генерал армии Шойгу.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's admiration for Peter the Great is well known, but he now seems to have an idea of greatness of himself. Russian presidents have openly compared himself to the Russian Tsar, equating Russia's invasion of Ukraine today with Peter's expansionist war some 3 centuries ago, and making his strongest acknowledgement yet that his own war is a land grab. Mr. Putin's apparent empire building, ambitious, bold, ill for Ukraine, and have risked other neighbors, including Estonia, which called his comments completely unacceptable. Russia's president was meeting young scientists and entrepreneurs when he made the remarks at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum (SPEF). Before taking IT and tech developments, he talked politics and power, the new battle he sees for geopolitical dominance. In that, he told his select audience that Peter the Great was a role model. You might think he was fighting with Sweden, seizing their land, Mr. Putin said, referring to northern wars which Peter launched at Thorn in the 18th century as he forged a new Russian empire. But he seized nothing. He reclaimed it, he said, arguing that Slavs have lived in the area for centuries. It seems it has fallen to us too, to reclaim and strengthen, Mr. Putin concluded, with a near smear that left no doubt he was referring to Ukraine and his aim there. Putin, who he suggested was proof that expanding Russia has strengthened it. Mr. Putin has taken to citing Russia's past a lot lately, always carefully curated to suit his present-day course. Several months before he attacked Ukraine, he produced a giant essay in which he essentially argued away the country's historical right to exist. When Russia invaded its neighbor on 24 February, Putin claimed it was a special operation limited to the eastern Donbas region to denazify Ukraine and reduce the supposed threat to Russia. But even as he was uttering those words, his troops were moving on Kyiv and bombing land even further west. More than 100 days later, a fifth of Ukrainian territory is under Russian military control, with puppet administrations who talks of referenda on joining Russia. And now Putin feels bold enough to admit that his operation is in fact an occupation. He also seems to believe the West is ultimately accepts the reality his troops are fighting to create on the ground. At the time, not one European country recognized Russia's claim to the land where Peter created St. Petersburg as Russia's bold new capital, Mr. Putin said. Now they all do. His comments have also rattled the Baltic countries. The Estonian foreign ministry summoned the Russian ambassador to condemn his reference to Peter the Great's assault on Narva, now in Estonia, as Russia reclaiming and strengthening its territory. Putin's use of his history is selective. Peter the Great, though an autocrat, was a huge admirer of Western ideas, science and culture, famously building St. Petersburg as a window on Europe and traveling that continent thirsty for knowledge to help drag Russia towards modernity. Putin increasingly repressive rule slowly closed that window on the West. The war on Ukraine has slammed it shut. The idea of Russian leader touring Holland or Greenwich in search of idea and inspiration, as the Tsar once did, now seemed impossible. As Putin lectured the young entrepreneur on the 18th century Tsar, a series of words flashed up behind them: future, confidence, victory. Russia is determined to project defiance in the face of Western condemnation and sanctions, and Putin himself certainly appeared relaxed rather than beleaguered. But perhaps there is another lesson from the history book. Peter the Great did eventually conquer land from the Baltics to the Black Sea, but Russia was fighting its great northern war for 21 years. Putin admires Tsar Peter the Great, and that is one thing that concerns him. He is more concerned about historical factor than current economic challenge or so, and is making this game.